Lameness Locator's lameness evaluation is based on the trotting gait. When the horse is not trotting, the information it provides is not useful for lameness evaluation. Fortunately, Lameness Locator software automatically selects the trotting strides for the user and analyzes only these strides. Strides during the collection in which the horse is not trotting, for example, when the horse is turning around, or if the horse bucks or breaks into a canter during an evaluation, are not selected and not analyzed. Lameness Locator selects trotting strides by calculating the median stride rate over the entire collected trial. Strides that are within a certain percentage of this median stride rate are selected. This window is called the delta value, and the delta value is 10% or 0.1. As long as the most common gait during the trial is a trot, this approach is remarkably successful at picking most, if not all, trotting strides and not picking non-trotting strides during a trial. Although relatively uncommon, Lameness Locator software more often does not select all trotting strides wanted than it does select unwanted non-trotting strides. The most common reason for not selecting all desired trotting strides is when a horse trots noticeably faster or slower in one segment of a trial than in other segments. In the uncommon situation when not all strides desired by the user to be analyzed are selected, the user can adjust the delta value to select more strides. This option is presented to the user very shortly after beginning an analysis. Soon after beginning an analysis, Lameness Locator presents the user with a plot of raw vertical head acceleration, the green signal, with blue and red asterisks indicating the beginning, the blue asterisk, and ending, the red asterisks, of segments to be analyzed, and a question box asking, is this selection correct? In this particular example, the horse was at first standing still, as shown by small vertical head movement at the beginning. The horses then trotted off in one direction, and a large and regular vertical head motion is seen. The horse then reached the end of the lameness evaluation area and turned around. When turning around, the vertical head movement is reduced. The horse then trotted back in the opposite direction, and regular vertical head movement increased again. In this case, however, note that when the horse trotted back to the examiner, no trotting strides were selected when they should have been. If the evaluator would like to include these trotting strides in the evaluation, which is advisable, then the window around the median stride rate should be increased above the default value of 0.1. The user should select No. Selecting No opens a small text box with an instruction to enter delta, placing a value, in this case 0.2, which is slightly higher than the default value of 0.1, and then selecting OK returns the user to the raw head acceleration plot with new selections for starting, the blue asterisks, and ending points, the red asterisks. In this case, notice that now the second segment, when the horse was trotting back, is selected. Occasionally, higher values of delta are needed, in which case the user would select No again before entering another delta. It is not recommended to enter delta values above 0.5, and if needed to select strides, it is probably better to just recollect the data. The user will be represented with the window, is the selection correct, over and over again until satisfied with the software's selection of trotting strides. Selecting Yes accepts the current selection and continues analysis. Note, only head acceleration data is presented to the user when asked to accept or not accept the selection of strides. Starting and ending points for analysis of vertical pelvic motion for evaluation of hind limb lameness are the same time points used for beginning and ending points for analysis of vertical head motion. Here is a second example. This is another case of data being collected when the horse is first trotting in one direction, turning around and then trotting back. However, in the first segment, the first few strides are not selected. The most common reason for this is that the horse was not trotted off briskly and did not accelerate to approach a median stride rate very quickly. When asked, the user can, if desired, include these strides in the analysis by selecting No, then entering a delta value above 0.1. Entering a delta value of 0.2 includes a few more strides at the beginning of the first segment. Entering an even larger delta value, in this case 0.3, is needed to include almost all of the strides in the first segment of trotting. This is good enough, and the user would then select Yes to proceed with data analysis. And one last example. This is a collection after a flexion test. Note that there are only a few strides collected and, in this case, no strides were selected. There is no starting point indicated by a blue asterisk and no ending point indicated by a red asterisk. Data analysis cannot proceed, and if the user selects Yes to the question, "Is selection correct?" data analysis will stop, and an error message, "Could not launch analysis module," will be displayed. The user should select No and enter a delta value greater than 0.1. Entering a delta value of 0.2 in this case selects the necessary strides for analysis.